actually read it or even held it in my hands. So I wrote the book in 2017. It took me almost 4 years to get it done. And I wrote the book in 2017. It took me almost 4 years to get it done. And the book is about this middle-aged school teacher who's struggling to finish his long pending manuscript. And then he meets these two very young people who come into his life, and how they help him to finish his manuscript, or what the secrets that they have to share with him, which lead to some discoveries in their personal lives, is what this book is about. And it has a beautiful love story. It's a collection of letters and essays, and it's got a very unique format of storytelling. In fact, the first reviews that we got, they really they were not very critical, but they really appreciated the unique structure of the novella. And so, yeah, I guess that was start of my literary career. But before that, I had been getting published for my short stories and articles and essays and so on since I was in college. And this was my first book. I'm currently working on the next one. And I received a lot of acclaim, a lot of love for this piece of writing. And to be honest, I didn't have a lot of expectations, because this was a labor of love. And initially, I thought that no one would be willing to publish it in India. And that's what happened, because I remember sitting down and writing so many applications and reaching out to publishers, but no one really took interest in the story. But then there was this one publishing house, which at that time was in West Bengal, Woven Words Publishers. The publisher contacted me. I got in touch with the editing team, and they loved the narration. They thought this was very unique and something very fresh. Because you see, if you read the book, and I'm talking about the love story especially, it's so innocent, it's so fresh, and it's because a lot of it is borrowed from life, and just not the story, but the other parts of the novella as well. So it will always have that fragrance and that innocence, which comes from your own lived experiences. And yeah, I think that was the start. And then we got published. Then we got a review from the Huffington Post, and then we printed it on the back of the back of the cover of my book. And of course, as I said earlier, your own lived experiences shape a lot of your thinking. And I think I wrote this book when I published it when I was 23, but I started writing when I was 19. And a lot of things changed since then. A lot of convictions went, a whole lot of, like a whole lot of drastic change. And I'm glad, I took this journey with myself, and I think there's a fine testament to that period in my life. It's a beautiful reminder of who I was, what I thought, and the kind of characters that I put a lot of faith in. So that's how the book came into being. And the responses, as I said, initially people were not too critical. I received a lot of acclaim, a lot of love, which was unexpected. I even remember there was this one colleague of mine. She called me up and she said that she was in tears, and she said, "This is the most beautiful book that I've read. And this also changed my thinking about a lot of things." It's a very unique perspective, which is coming from a homosexual male. But you see, that's not how I thought it, but that's the kind of, that's the power of the narrative. That's how it impacted people. And it was surprising to me. It was humbling. It has changed. We see a lot of brilliant writing coming out from Indian authors, and people are shedding their inhibitions about, writing about LGBT relationships, as you put, or perhaps storylines that involve LGBT characters. And today you see such nuanced portrayals of what it really means to be a part of the community. So I think it's changing, and I don't want to be called as a gay writer. Some people told me that, if you come out and you tell people that, this is what your book is about, but this is also a part of who you are, people would start calling you a gay writer. And trust me, no one has ever called me that. Perhaps maybe they do it they do that privately, but I don't think we live in times now. I think it's slowly changing, especially the mindsets. I feel, you guys are doing incredible work in changing the mindsets, and there's so many other not-for-profits working in the field to educate people and raising awareness. It's you fear something that you don't understand. It's as basic as that, and I feel at the core of every problem, and you talk about acceptance, or perhaps understanding something. Initially, you're blocked by your own fear and prejudices. Perhaps you're too close-minded. Maybe you're not willing to understand. But I think in most cases, it's people are not adequately aware, and people are still afraid of being shunned, by their society, by the communities that we live in. Because in India, it's more about, your family and community. And like earlier, I used to be a bit mindful of what I was writing. I mean, there's always this at a subconscious level, there's this fear playing out, like maybe if it's too graphic, like, if you are writing a sex scene, perhaps. So it's something which is intimate, and you don't want to give out too many details. And you know like today, I don't feel any of those inhibitions. And apart from that, and I think the writing it definitely gets better with age, because you experience more, and you practice more, and you learn more. And you also realize that what worked perhaps 5 years ago might not work for you right now. And you've changed as a person. Your convictions have gone, like they've changed. So I think definitely, because right now the book that I'm working on is nothing like I've read before, and is nothing like the first book that I wrote. So I would say definitely the writings, they do the writing does change.
Thank you, sir. And the last question that I want to ask you as a host is that what is the new projects or books that you are now working upon? So, about your new works that are going to be published soon.
So I've been working on this book for the last 3.5, a little over 3.5 years, and it's again like a work in literary fiction. It's not going to be a novella; it's going to be a full-fledged novel, and it's about. I don't want to give out too many details, because I really am. I'm quite superstitious when it comes to talking about your projects which haven't been finalized yet. So the book again has a very unique narrative, and it has an LGBT character at the center of it, and it's about an obituary writer. This time it's a little different. It's about an obituary writer who's solving some personal crisis in his life. But at the same time, it's this supernatural fantasy adventure, and I think it's going to be something very new for the readers. And that please keep doing the work that you are doing. And as Dr. Mukul said, that there's so much has to be done. And he talked about one of the issues from so many issues that really have to be worked upon. And I believe that there can be more honest portrayals of LGBT people, and just not in romances. I think it's an important part, yes, but I think if people were to see someone who's very regular, like just paying their taxes and bills and leading a regular life, and still have something in them which separates them from the masses, like if there's something which is unique to those people. And I think we need such nuanced portrayal, such fresh outlooks.
Thank you so much, sir, for elaborating upon this topic.